Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LTA 2025 matchup.
Obviously, FlyQuest, our only remaining undefeated team thus far, looking to just keep that going all the way through the round robin here with these next 3 days worth of games. But LYON has been I think a surprise for a lot of fans with just how well they're coming together. I remember back in Split 1, we were even talking about, like, man, there's so many different languages being spoken on this team. How are these guys going to communicate and play together? And it feels like they're really figuring it out.
Yeah, it really has. Saint said Audi is one of the biggest reasons that he likes playing on this team. So, good comms, good vibes. Let's get into the draft, though, shall we? Because Saint has been targeted already with the Yone ban. Of course, that was, one of those super successful picks that they showed. Yone plus Sejuani synergy, and the melee mid laners that have a lot of playmaking ability. He's really shown on. I will say, when I was up there, for the early interview, he was practicing on Rise, and he did have that Rise game as well. Has been quite popular in the meta, so we'll see if there's some split pushing in their future or not.
All right, so the bans are done for the first half. It's the Yone, the Ezreal, and the Sylas, another one of those melee type of picks that you're talking about that you can really pop off with from the mid lane, banned out by FlyQuest. Meanwhile, LYON removing the Vi, the Kalista, and the Karma as Varus is locked in here by FlyQuest. 100% pick ban presence for this champion so far. He is a staple of bottom lane.
Okay, and we get the instant answer, though. It's the Azir lock-in for Saint.
Okay.
And combined with, I would say, the most popular jungler on the patch as well. So we're going straight down the line, Flowers. We've got most popular AD carry, most popular jungler already grabbed up.
A couple of the most popular bans as well, with Kalista and Vi not being allowed to see the light of day.
So if they do the Rumble does pair nicely with Varus. Varus is one of the AD carries that does have CC, and Rumble here, you would want some sort of AD jungle now for Inspired. Assuming they're not, flexing the Rumble, which is very rare, but technically still done in solo queue. So see if they want to get him some sort of AD kind of duelist jungle right now, like Vi is available, or if they want to drop jungle. Inspired has a very deep champion pool, so they can grab support now, and they do go very early for it. Some playmaking here as well for Busio. Alistar at the moment just kind of gives you so much. I guess the only thing it doesn't really give you is like level 1 prio.
Right, yeah. Level 1 Alistar's not the scariest.
Doesn't give you a lot of that late phase level 1 or poke or anything like that, but it does so much as far as protecting your carries and serving as great engage for something like a Rumble ult. Oh,
yeah. We have the Galio locked in now by LYON. They are saying, all right, if Bwipo wants to play the Rumble, we are just going to take the counter pick. This is the kind of thing that you would normally expect Bwipo to do into someone else. Now Licorice is saying, all right, I can do it too.
Yeah, and Licorice has been the top laner that has utilized a lot of counter picks and a lot of flex picks. We had him flex up the Nefiri up the top lane. Very versatile player and also very comfortable on tanks. He's self-proclaimed very good tank playing top laner. A lot of top laners say, love to play carries only, but not him. Favorite champ is Poppy, but Galio is so good into Rumble because of the magic shield. And we'll see, since you can pair your Galio and Xin Zhao very effectively.
Oh, yeah.
I actually like what LYON are building so far. And the denial kind of Poppy ban here, very, very important as well. When you are running Xin Zhao and Azir, the Poppy can be so incredibly annoying, even Galio to some extent.
I mean, yeah, Galio has one of the most telegraphed I'm going to run at you dashes of all time. Very, very easy for Poppy to just shut that one down in its tracks. I like the ban there. Talia also banned away as it's double marksman focus here from FlyQuest. They know that they already got the very high value Varus pick, so they're going to try to knock Hannah down on that tier list just a little bit further with the Jhin and Ashe banned away and Xayah locked in for LYON.
Yeah, interesting. They take away the very safe AD carry of the counter engage of Xayah. But FlyQuest have other counter-engage options since Quad is a Cassio player. Very good counter-engage champion, and we'll see, can they build around him again? They have done so successfully in the past. Meanwhile, Inspired still looking, by the way, for that AD jungle we were talking about.
Yeah.
And it looks like it is going to be some sort of team fight focus for them as he shifts on through a couple of the options. Goes kind of tankier, but definitely way less offensive and way less AD threat of the Skarner after the nerfs that have come through, the deserved nerfs for this champion.
Very strong.
Yeah, very strong. Just doesn't do nearly as much damage and is going to be so much about getting those good CC combos, locking in the Xin Zhao, and seeing what they can do as far as the 5-on-5.
And I really like the combination of Rumble with Skarner's new ulti. If you can get multiple targets locked up in the Impale, sets up for a perfect equalizer to follow it up. And especially with Cassiopeia, we touched a little bit on, the Poppy ban was a great denial because you don't want to deal with how hard she shuts down mobility. But Cassiopeia, one of the few champions in the game with grounding in the kit, very, very strong, especially now when you're looking at the last pick here for LYON. It's Rakan. Love this champion. Think it fits great with what else they have, but also can be very easily shut down if he's caught off guard by that Cassiopeia.
Very strong team fighting setups on both sides for this one. Excited to see what we get here. So many snap engage options too. When you have Rakan and Galio, that they can get into the back line very, very quickly and go lights out.
I love that combo. It's so effective just being able to chain CC everything together like that. And I think LYON is going to have to be executing on all these combos. They need to make sure that they are playing to their absolute limit if they want to be the first team here in the LTA to take a game off of FlyQuest in this second split. FlyQuest definitely our strongest team so far. And I feel like we've already talked about Saint a lot, but if LYON's going to pull off what nobody else has pulled off in these first couple of weeks, we're going to need to see a powerful performance from Saint.
We certainly are. Let's get into it.
All right, rock and roll. FlyQuest versus LYON, kicking it off here. Game number 1 of Super Week. As Inspired and Quad will, they'll find LYON waiting there in the brush. A couple spells back and forth, but I don't think anybody really wants to full send over this early on here. Not a ton of hard CC available for either side, so just going to walk it all back.
All right. Couple of scratches.
Yeah.
With a little bit of a friendly exchange there. All right. Doesn't seem to be any options for late invades or anything like that either, so should be pretty standard team fighting setups and pretty standard lane setups.
Yeah, most stuff looks pretty standard, except the one thing that is kind of jumping out to me a little bit here is Masu with the double mobility summoner spells. I feel like lots of times for the marksman, you'll see obviously the flash, but then usually more of a defensive option with a barrier, a heal, something like that. But going for the full ghost, give him that extra mobility in the fights, get away from these big attempted engages from stuff like the Rakan and Galio combo that we were talking about earlier.
Let's see what he can do with it. I mean, Masu has been so good ever since he has joined the league.
Oh, yeah.
Winning Rookie of the Year last year. Let's see about this early start to the lane, too. They get some prio over the brush for a second there.
I feel like LYON's bottom lane is committing one of the cardinal sins of Xayah and Rakan and not using the matching skins with them together. I feel like every time I see Xayah and Rakan, people are almost always coordinating that. So maybe not the brightest sign here for LYON early on.
Cracks.
Yeah.
Where's the synergy, Flowers?
Well, FlyQuest definitely have the tools in this bottom lane to make things happen. You were already talking about Masu and just how important he's been for this team. I mean, when you remember back to the series that was so close to being North America's greatest accomplishment in years with going 5 games against Gen G, it was really Masu who just had so many of those moments where you're watching it and thinking, man, this guy is really good. And just seeing this roster stay together, seeing them continue to move forward and hopefully continue to elevate that level.
Yeah, building on the same roster, building on those synergies, building on that trust between teammates, very, very critical. And like you say, it was so important that he showed it on. Well, Licorice taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Licorice does not like this situation. The Flame Spitter is there, and he even flashes at the very end. From tragedy into straight up heartbreak, the solo kill in the top lane for Bwipo.
Oh, Flowers! I was like, oh, okay. I guess he's accepted his death. He's not flashing.
Say
but
flash.
then he also flashed to the end of it.
All right, let's take another look.
Do we have to, Flowers?
We have to. I'm sorry, because honestly, Bwipo has a really nice step back here. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that was clean. And then being able to do the chase down with Conqueror, by the way. I think that's a very nice little adaptation with, wait a second, another death and flash as well as he is dying. Flowers, 2 solo bolos plus summoner spells, and that was right after Saint had teleported back during the replay, so the teleport was just used too.
He's dead with teleport. He is walking the long way back to lane. This game could not have a rougher start for the LYON solo laners. Like, this is not the kind of medicine they need if they want to have a chance against FlyQuest. We'll see if maybe Hina and LYONs can try to get something back down here in the bottom lane. They do have this wave shoving up, but Busio and Masu just ready to respond to it. They clearly aren't that intimidated. Inspired hasn't even had to get involved anywhere on the map yet. Kobe, I feel like so often when we're watching FlyQuest, we're saying, oh yeah, Inspired, he's the catalyst, he's the driver, he makes it happen. They don't even need him driving this game.
I mean, we're getting the replay right now from Quad. That was a really nice Miasma from him and just chases him down. But yeah, then it always feels so bad blowing your flash as you're dying there. Poison still on Saint, and Flame Spitter range was still there for Bwipo in the top side one as well. That both solo laners being down makes it really hard to play from the jungle perspective. Since you're talking about, Inspired, he is loving life right now. He's got 2 full clears. He's in his 2nd full clear right now on Skarner.
Busio got to be a little careful here. Does not want to walk into all those feathers. As Hina also eats a ton of damage back from Masu.
Little past mid, you can see on the mini-map there. He made a little look towards Saint, and Audi is taking the opportunity during Inspired showing to get into the fog of war, and he wants to make a quick play.
Okay, Bwipo gonna get jumped on here, drops the equalizer, and then tries to flash away. Licorice does not land the taunt, but the Winds of War get it done. That's LYON finally on the board.
Super smart, and I want to point out for Audi, him really utilizing the small couple seconds that we talked about, we could see on the mini-map that Inspired showed mid. As soon as that happened, Audiland made a beeline towards the enemy side jungle so he could wrap around and get that kill onto Bwipo and get something back for the top lane, which is honestly huge for them. Nice bit of salvaging done. Even though in the reset here we are going to have FlyQuest first up to the top side, and they will be the ones first over to the grubs. They should be able to get those no problem for Inspired, which would mean that the opposite side of the map down there, I mean, it is a Mountain Drake. Then that thing takes a long time to kill, so we'll see about LYON's opportunities on cross-map plays, but it doesn't seem like they're going to have a lot of time to pull anything off with. Maybe since Bwipo doesn't have flash, they'll still be able to get something done on the other side of the map.
You would hope so. FlyQuest getting away with everything in the early game generally does not bode well for their opponents at having a decent shot, taking them down as they move forward. Quad and Saint both level 6 now. You already mentioned that Cassiopeia being one of those powerful counter-engaged champions, and I really want to see how fast Quad is going to be on hitting those perfect petrifying gazes, making sure that you're kind of winning them against them in that mind game of, is he going to turn his back now or not?
That's always the fun one. Sidestepping feels so good. Turning around for that split second so that you don't get stunned. Meanwhile, we did get the view. The cross-map play was a scuttle crab. It was not an entire
not as good as 3 grubs.
Not very large, but it is a little something there. He did get his level 6 as Busio goes in.
Oh, nicely done. Followed up by the Chains of Corruption there as they will force out the flash from Hina and still going to get a chunk of damage onto LYONs.
Okay. Adi, of course, is pathing from top side down to bottom side, and it looks like he's going to follow LYONs here.
Okay. But they are still going to see him. Remember,
I mean,
no ulti for the Varus.
Yeah, they both have flashes here for FlyQuest, so not a lot of opportunity for LYON. They could at most probably blow one of the flashes, and that is simply not worth a huge time investment up there. Junglers need to remain efficient, so right back to the clear there for Audiland.
Right, and of course it also just gives a giant green light to the other areas of the map for FlyQuest if they know that Audi's just hanging around up here for an extended period of time. Bwipo can push out, do whatever he wants. Quad can push out, do whatever he wants. Both of these solo laners off to nice individual leads early on. You can see largest individual lead in the game, 500 gold up over his opponent for Quad. That Cassiopeia is going to be really scary, man.
Yes, it is. And of course, Rod of Ages plus the Seraph's Embrace, lots of scaling on the champion, and a Dark Seal. So the full set of mage scaling openers here.
Yup.
You can get seal stacks, you can get rod stacks, and mana stacks there.
Stacking, and more stacking, as Licorice doesn't seem to be having the greatest time in this this side lane 1v1 that he picked his counter matchup for.
Yeah, I mean, the opener, the solo was really rough, but like you said, it was also a nice side step back from Whippo.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a lot about some of the team play options here that LYON are going to look for with Rakan plus Galio combinations.
And there is some powerful scaling options for LYON too, right? Like, we know what late game Azir looks like. We know how powerful that can be. Xayah, traditional crit marksman, just very, very good at outputting tons of damage as long as they don't fall too far behind here early. Hannah's going to have the opportunity to put some damage onto these turret plates as Masu does not have Lucio close enough nearby, knows that he has to pay respect towards this Xayah and the allies that might be very close.
The threatening of the Galio and the Rakan up here, though, is going to cost them a dragon. FlyQuest will have the numbers on the bottom side of the map, and they've got the power to kill that dragon as well, even though, as we said, it is a tanky mountain. They've got the solo lanes, both of them pushing in, so Quad even goes down to help out Inspired, and they'll secure that one.
And Cassiopeia, as her identity as a DPS mage versus just like, a traditional burst or control mage, is so good at burning through these neutral objectives, can just do so much damage to them very quickly, so it doesn't even feel like you're losing a whole lot of time having to take down that tankier dragon. Inspired continuing to just keep on power farming. This is just kind of like the hands-off jungling early game. Sometimes it goes this way.
It's jungle life. Your solo lanes both got solo kills, so his job is to secure grubs, get the dragon, continue keeping his farm up on the Skarner, and he is going for the popular extra Giants belts since they nerfed Heartsteel fairly substantially, just immediately, still rushing into it though. Immediately combines those, doesn't go, do the extra Ruby Crystal into one there. So we'll see how many stacks he actually can get. So even with the Heartsteel nerfs plus the Skarner nerfs themselves, him doing less damage, it's still there.
Yeah, getting the thing completed before 11 minutes should be able to provide some good stacking opportunities, especially with that second set of grubs just now spawning. You can see both teams already wanting to commit multiple players to this topside river area, wanting to contest this. FlyQuest, if they can just get one, they're already going to be spawning Void Mites, so they'll be pretty happy about that. But they've controlled every neutral objective so far, so if they could just knock down all three of these, would really feel bad for LYON. And it looks like FlyQuest is going to go ahead and start it up. Two of the grubs pretty low, I would assume. Yeah, Inspired is going to smite that first one. LYON wants to go in, but he does not find the engagement to Masu, who walks out of the heroic entrance from Galio, but now the damage turned right back onto him. Fetal Warfare secured, and FlyQuest pick up a free kill off of a botched engage from LYON.
The ghost is looking good, Flowers.
Yeah.
Masu is looking good. Pop that little ghost, dodge the Rakan, dodge the Galio, and then he even had extra time, just kind of chilling there. That was a massive counter engage from FlyQuest, and LYON's spent his flash to go for the engage onto Masu, who cleanly and calmly relies on his own skills there. Just the ghost popped in evading that one. And we mentioned in Champion Select the counter engage popularity there and power with Cassiopeia on the squad as well. Rumble ult as well. Nicely done from FlyQuest.
Oh no. Saint barely getting away for now. Lucio wants to see if he can keep up with him. Maybe lock him up here, but as soon as Audieland shows up, it guarantees that Saint is going to stay alive. But that's the power of the Cassiopeia right there. Catch somebody with the miasma. All of a sudden, they're stuck being grounded. Even though the Petrifying Gaze didn't really work, I guess he's just kind of hoping maybe Saint will try to turn around and ult me or something, and then I can stun him. But
yeah, or even if you tag him on the backside, if you can just get the edge of it there, then maybe Alistar is able to catch up because of it, and they chase something down. But no chase down doesn't really matter for the perspective of FlyQuest. They already have accomplished a significant amount in this game. Licorice here goes right into Blippo again. And Ward goes down, stops the recall, but still going to be priority for FlyQuest in these lanes, as well as objective and gold lead in their hands. So honestly, this undefeated team at the top of the LTA is looking like they belong there.
Yeah, they've already got their super boots because of the very early kills and neutral objectives all being fully secured. I feel like it's super rare to actually see all 6 grubs go one team's way as long as the other team is contesting it at all, just because it's so easy to walk up, just smite one of those stupid grubs and then walk away with it. But
why are they stupid, man? Where the grubs are catching strays?
You've seen the grubs, man. They look pretty goofy. They look a little silly. As Saint, oh, he might end up looking silly here. Has to flash to get back over the wall, but Busio and Masu do not want to allow the Emperor away from this one. Busio's just going to walk up there with the trample, gets slowed down by the rain of arrows. Bwipo lays out the red carpet. Welcome to hell. Azir goes down for the 2nd time this game, and they are going to be putting the hurt on the bottom lane tier 1 turret. Now, Licorice is going to do the same up there on the top side, and he should still be able to get it, but still, it's not as fast as what FlyQuest is doing. They're just always there first.
Yeah, and they get the tower down. It's going to be traded back eventually. FlyQuest, they also sacrificed the extra minion wave in mid lane to go for that play because they allocated like all resources almost to that bot side play. So the push from LYON, the counter was, well, wait a second, Audieland.
Yeah, Audi could be in some danger here as Busio is ready to cut off his escape. Audi jumping back towards the blue buff to try to get away. He is going to lose the Crescent Guard, and he will lose his life alongside it. Bwipo picking up kill number 5 for FlyQuest.
Flowers, it's just looking like murder at the moment.
It's a crime scene.
FlyQuest, before the dragon comes up, they go into the jungle. They find a couple Easter eggs in the jungle there. And then they crack one of them.
And turns out there's money inside. About 300 gold. Feels good.
Wow. There's gold inside of that one. Nice. Okay, well, dragon as well in the aftermath. So it looks like it should be an easy path here since they can just reallocate resources towards mid as Masu is at, well, actually, just fully defends it.
Yeah.
Walk on over to his control ward. The rest of his teammates haven't shown in a while, being Inspired and Busio. And even though Busio went for his recall, LYON don't know that, so they're not going to push the issue and not going to try and lose any lives over that control ward. So it is just going to be FlyQuest continuing to rule the map.
And Licorice just now hitting level 11 versus Bwipo already level 12. The situation in the side lane, in the solo lanes, I don't think it's ever really gotten a whole lot better. It's a bad situation.
Is it a red alert situation yet, or is it like...
The sirens are going off. People are starting to wonder what's happening. Like, the solo lanes are in some pretty dire straits here for LYON's side.
Back.
Busio just keeps doing this over and over and over again. He wants to make sure Saint has no fun in this game. Saint is able to make it back to the ruins of that tier 1 tower, summon up the Sun Disc instead. But the Herald is on the rift. LYON really want to try to get something here as Inspired gets caught out, juggled up into the air. Nice use of the grand entrance, but it's not enough. Masu's doing a great job firing back as Inspired is still going to be kept alive, flashing out of the way of the heroic entrance. Audieland needs a little bit more damage, and finally the Skarner will fall. The fight off to the side doesn't even matter. Audi is burning. Licorice is burning. LYON's chances, hopes, and dreams are burnt to a crisp. Well,
all right, that's going to be the Rift Herald as well. All the neutral objectives belong to FlyQuest. Does Saint have a shot here versus Masu?
Nope.
Looks like no. Masu, if Masu gets another shot, you better be careful here.
Masu's very, very strong. Now, this is the, it is like the attack speed, like lethal tempo Varus. It's not the lethality one, so a piercing arrow shouldn't take out just half your health bar completely. Still, obviously, very scary to be dealing with this guy. 2-0-4 on the Varus. Not even the highest kill participation on the team, though. That award goes to Bwipo, who's currently at 8 out of 9 kills. Yeah. As a top laner, he's participating in.
Yeah, and since he got a solo kill and nobody else got to participate in that one,
that's all he is.
Going to pump those numbers up. But here's a look at how it started, and it was over a control ward, and this one was from the opposite side. LYON, believing with the extra members there, they make the call, they try and make their play with the teleport plus the 3 members, but really good ult from Inspired to lock up 3 by so much time for FlyQuest. And even though LYON do get the shutdown, eventually killing the Skarner because he was able to get the 3 kills. Aww. Yay.
She's excited.
Is
that was a big ulti combo.
That was a big ulti combo. Look at that. 3-person Skarner roll. You got to love those, Flowers.
Oh, yeah. It's exactly what I was talking about in the draft. If you can manage to get the Skarner ulti on top of the Rumble equalizer, which is exactly what happened there, it just feels so bad for the enemy team. Even if you're only trapped in that Impale for, what, a second and a half, it feels a whole lot longer. And they just got completely decimated. This is almost a 5,000 gold lead, not even 19 minutes into the game. This feels like LYON are just praying for a mistake from FlyQuest, but FlyQuest haven't been making any.
No, not really. No, not really. Bwipo himself has a 10-stack Dark Seal, so
it's time for a book.
This Rumble is out of control, man. Bwipo has had some really mega carry games as well, like really mega carry ones. His Volley Bear one was crazy. He had a crazy Swain one. The champions that he has used, like, this is not one of the out there champions, you know, the Bwipo special picks. This is meta. This is straight up super duper
It doesn't get much more meta than Rumble.
And it's like, oh, he can do it on meta champs. He can do it on special champs. Saint is constantly running.
Oh, nice flash to get away from the headbutt, though. Guarantee that he doesn't get caught out there. If Busio gets that angle and knocks him back, the follow-up firepower was there. But they force out the defensive summoner spell from the LYON mid laner, and they do it with only 35 seconds until the next Drake spawns. They've already got the first 2 of those as well, so this would move them to Soul Point 20 minutes into the game. Very scary stuff for LYON, who are just being completely suffocated out of any chance to respond. Bwipo is going to walk over top of the scanner there as Audie's taking way too much damage. Finally going to get reinforced. The team arrives. Bwipo dies. Shut down. Back over to Licorice. But now he and Hina have to try to escape. Audieland's going to take the Hex Gate out. But the other members of LYON can't say the same. Even when LYON gets the kill they're looking for, they still lose out on the trade.
Yeah, they wanted to grab a surprise kill, and I think rightfully so. Like, at that point, you're so far behind. You need to get a surprise shutdown kill onto Bwipo, cut down on the Dark Seal stacks, get some of that money back. But of course, you're deeply invested into enemy jungle and are going to end up paying for it twofold over with the Dragon as well during the death timers. There it is. Surprise plays. Of course, use your sweepers, get into the brush, try and pull off multiple people so you can actually get the kill. And they did their combo. They got Licorice in there, but they were unsuccessful in getting Licorice and Henna out of there afterwards.
And the thing is, if not for that Galio ulti shield, that would have been just straight up 100-0 onto Audieland. He would not have gotten away from that. The only survivor of the full engage barely held on just thanks to the Galio showing up there to reinforce him. And look at Bwipo's inventory, man. He's got the Liandry's, he's got the Riftmaker. Yes, he lost a couple of stacks on the ring, but this is the kind of, like, when you lock Rumble in, being at this point of the game, in your build, in your own progression, 21 minutes, this is perfect.
Yeah, and he didn't just like autopilot. When he saw, okay, they're going to Galio counter me for lane, well, I'm going to make some adjustments. I'll go Conqueror, I'll go Riftmaker, Liandry's, I'll have this more bruisery stack up, and of course it went way better than expected. He didn't draw it up like, I'm also going to get a solo kill and his flash at like level 3. Not exactly part of the plan, but we'll definitely roll with it. Here we go in the push mid.
Busio first to engage and try to stop him as Masu going to unload into Audieland now. Needs a little bit more damage to be able to take him out, but the Xin Zhao staying alive with the protection from the Crescent Guard thus far. LYON's trying to get himself back away off to the side as Licorice wants to make his entry. But a nice shuffle comes out from Saint. Hannah trying to fire in and get something back out of it as Quad is down below 100 HP. LYON finally showing some signs of life, but it's still not going to be enough. The Otacon claimed means that anything that they're getting here isn't really even going to matter. Saint's about to burn down to Bwipo, and Inspired will pick up another one as Licorice dies. 2, 4 dead on LYON's side, and FlyQuest are just racking up the bodies.
The Otacon buff acquired while LYON were still pushing, and so FlyQuest make the call, hey, Busio, don't let them get out of here. Just keep them here long enough for the rest of us to arrive. And LYON actually played a decent amount at the beginning of that quite well, but with the power of the Otacon revivals and the arrival of the rest of the FlyQuest members, they know they're going to be able to push right afterwards. So Quad also ending up with a nice little blue buff here on Cassio. The Dream, they get to push mid as well as bottom.
This is a nightmare for LYON, man. These guys are not enjoying this current state of gameplay. 5,500 gold lead for FlyQuest. Inspired, looking for an angle there to punish anybody foolish enough to try to defend this tier 2 turret. 6 Void Grubs and a massive gold lead just make it so easy to continue to balloon those advantages into greater and greater numbers. And honestly, man, I think we're at the greatness level of numbers right now where LYON are just crossing their fingers, hoping for some sort of crazy overextension, some sort of silly misplay, but FlyQuest just not giving it to them.
Let's see if they can make some more big plays in defense. Hoping to make one of these plays under tower if FlyQuest decide to go for the dive. Of course, Busio on Alistar, ready with Hex Flash and Alistar Ultimate. Can definitely tank that tower for a long time, so you have to be careful.
All right, Equalizer drops. FlyQuest going in to make their move as Busio tries to control everybody, but a nice shutdown over to Saint. Kills off Masu. FlyQuest have overplayed their hand. They are getting absolutely mopped off the map. This is exactly what LYON needed, as Inspired and Busio are likely to die here next. Saint finally falls, but what an absolutely massive moment for LYON.
So they didn't have Busio tank the tower. They had Bwipo did first damage, so Bwipo was tanking, and then when he dropped it, it went on to Quad. They're two solo laners, two of the big carries here are tanking tower. That FlyQuest, they got too ahead of themselves. Let's take another look. So they go right in. So Bwipo starts tanking it. Then they have the Galio ult on the backside as well to protect Saint, who has trapped them in. And Saint is just getting shutdowns. This Azir doing so much work. Huge turnaround for FlyQuest. That defensive play at the tower flowers, it actually works out here. LYON are able to defend, get a huge amount back for themselves. They cut the gold lead almost in half.
Yeah, it went from just about 6,500 to 3,500. That was massive for LYON, right when we're saying, wow, FlyQuest have been playing really good. They're not giving LYON an opportunity to come back. They're not making these mistakes. Then the tier 2 in bottom lane just turns into pure disaster, but they still have a very commanding position in the game. They're still at soul point. The next Drake is spawning less than 30 seconds from now. So LYON, what you just did was great. Now you got to do it again.
Yeah.
Right now.
And that's big. You know, Saint have been getting chased around this whole game, but huge stuff from him. Audilane gets caught.
Yeah, Chains of Corruption don't find anything there, but they don't need the chains. Audie's already down. Licorice in the middle of everybody looking for a nice big taunt, but it ain't gonna matter. Nobody's there to back him up. He'll buy an extra moment here with the stay says, but Quad has found his way forward. Saint drops, and there goes Henna too. FlyQuest might have goofed the once, but they won't do it twice. Only Masu has died as LYON just tries to waste as much of FlyQuest time as he can, continuing to try to run away. It doesn't even matter for FlyQuest that their AD carry isn't alive, because you've got Cassiopeia at a DPS down the super neutral objective. This Baron is going to melt.
It surely is. It's almost gone already before you even finish the sentence. And then Dragon's Soul is also on the map, Flowers. So your rewards for that fight are not even just the Baron. They're going to teleport out here, try and trap Licorice and get Dragon Soul.
This is so good from Busio. He's just wrangling Licorice around in the jungle, just keeping him alive, keeping him locked up. That way this death timer is going to be super desynced from everybody else. He's dead for another, what, 50 seconds here. There is no way they're going to have him available to try to contest this Drake. Audilane only just now getting back out on the map too. FlyQuest just locked in Baron, plus secured the Hextech Soul.
Man. LYON, they won their one fight, but the rewards were just a couple of seconds away from spawning, so they didn't get much more than all the kill money.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, then FlyQuest come right back, they win the next fight, and their rewards are everything.
It's huge.
It's the whole game, basically. Those two mega buffs, we're right back on track to just them. Well, we're in the same scene here.
The scene of the crime.
So, Flowers, does it happen twice? Saint doesn't have Flash.
Let's
But
see.
he does have his Azir ult.
Well, unfortunately for LYON, they don't have the men,
No
so they
magic
can't
there
even
again.
defend the thing. There's just going to be an easy force on that objective for FlyQuest, who can take their opportunity to go for a recall now, as we take another look at how this fight started mid with Audi getting picked.
Yeah, so it's really nice, just like two sides of pressure there, because Quad was on the top side, so I don't think Audilane expected it to be from both sides, basically, and the critical part was, you know, Quad catching him. This was nice as well, because he went for the flash with his ultimate to be able to get both of them, so that was huge. But really, you know, starting it all out and trapping the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao, one of these junglers that has no safety dash, you know, can only go to enemies there. So nicely done.
All right, LYON wants to go in, seeing if maybe they can find a pick on Debwippo, but it ain't gonna work. The rest of FlyQuest is already here, and LYONs is down. Matsu shoots him to pieces, and Busio finds a beautiful double knockup follow-up, but nobody else is nearby to do the damage to get any additional kills. Now Audi trying to re-engage here with Licorice right on top of him, but the Galio has been turned to stone at killing spree for Inspired, and FlyQuest will keep the push going. Saint, Henna, and Audiland trying to scramble to make something happen. Saint goes in, and it's a big whiff on the Emperor's Divide. Busio positioning aggressively, allowing nobody anywhere nearby. Henna and Audiland having to go back to the base, heal up back in the fountain. FlyQuest are injured, but they are not deterred. They wait for the next minion wave. It's 30 seconds on both solo laners for LYON. Their support just now respawning, and it's a 5 versus 3 to defend the Nexus turrets. FlyQuest keeping the push going. Inspired very low on mana. Busio wants an angle here to maybe find an engage, knock these guys up and allow the damage to just pour in. LYON chooses his moment. He wants to go in, but it ain't good enough. The Zai is down. The Rakan is down. There's no way for Audiland to try to stand and fight it. The Equalizer's gonna cook him right there on the fountain. 26-6. FlyQuest is 5-0.
FlyQuest with such a strong game.